Hello, everyone, and welcome to another breaking news podcast here at Four Lads. I'm joined by Kenny tonight to discuss some wild rumours, some wild stories, none of which that have been knocked down. And usually these things are very quickly rubbished. These things aren't getting quickly rubbished this time, Kenny. So we thought we'd come on and have a chat, share our excitement, share our prayers and hopes that this might actually be true. But those breaking news tonight, story from the Daily Record and Keith Jackson. We can argue about how truthful he's been in the past or whatever. But what is your initial thoughts before I go into the actual story of it? The headlines, of course, is that San Francisco 49ers, the people that back them, are in talks with Rangers over a stunning bid for takeover, which is at an advanced stage. If an agreement can be thrashed out, the Ibrox club stand to benefit from a major cash injection from the American backers. Kenny.
What you meant to say? Listen, when you had stuck the story up on the chat an hour ago or whatever it was, I think my initial reaction was, "Please be true," and everybody else was the same, weren't they? Look, it's one of those things that is well documented. That I think a lot of us are kind of fed up with the way the status quo is at this minute in time, and if this was to be true, which, as you say, by all accounts, it's not being kiboshed right away. There's nobody prepared to turn around and say this isn't true at this minute in time. Then it's very exciting news, and where we go from here, Stevie, would be quite interesting, won't it?
Because very interesting. There's loads of conspiracy theories. You know me, Kenny. People might know from listening to me that I love a good conspiracy theory. But let's read what the article says. It says we're at advanced stages. And it says basically sources from south of the border have confirmed one of the key men behind the proposal is Leeds United chairman Parag Marathi, the man in charge of NFL Giants investment arm 49ers Enterprises. This guy's got more money than sense. He's also an executive vice president of football operations in San Fran, was the architect of a takeover at Ellen Road Club for Leeds, blah, 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 blah. He is now understood to be part of the consortium, including at least one other high net worth American business mogul, I don't know, which hopes to restore Rangers to the top of the Scottish Premier League. Plan to snap up enough shares to become the biggest single shareholder in the club and would likely demand seats in new boardroom. He goes on to say that Marathi has not played a leading role in the takeover discussions. It's understood he has agreed to help fund it as the group closes in on a deal to oversee a revolutionary transfer of power in the boardroom. In return, not only would Rangers receive a massive injection of transfer cash, but the club would also gain access to the 49ers' cutting-edge, data-driven technology for player recruitment, as well as open the door to a number of money-spinning sponsorships and new commercial tie-ups. It talks a wee bit furthermore, but Kenny, that's the gist of it. Advanced stages, apparently, for this deal. It hasn't been knocked down yet. It's worth a discussion, even if it's just to say, this is the kind of thing. Our club needs a shot in the arm. We've spoke about it for so long now. Something needs to happen. Something needs to go. We'll go into the conspiracy theories that I have in a wee second, but I'm not saying this is the answer to all our prayers. We should be careful and everything should be treated at face value and things like that. But I think it's fair to say, Kenny, that's phrase again. This club needs a shot in the arm. Something like this is potentially what everyone needs throughout the football club to revolutionise it, as they're saying. But not only that, the support needs something.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And having read the article, Stevie, what they did with Leeds, there was stuff about this takeover that I didn't know about with Leeds, but they initially bought shares to get themselves onto the board, and then bit by bit bought up and got a controlling interest in the football club. But for us, I don't know if you'll recall this, Stevie, but we discussed this a couple of months back in our show where we turned around and said that, if the current board of investors didn't have a 3 to 5 year plan, then they should have an exit strategy. And well, maybe they did. Maybe they did. Maybe that is the kind of situation that we're looking at this moment in time. That perhaps one or two of those investors feel that they've went as far as they can, and would be prepared to sell their shares to the right people. And perhaps they feel that these guys are the right people. It is all speculation. We can't turn around and get overly excited, because I've been dancing about my living room for the last half hour and try to put the reins on it. But listen, I personally find this really quite an exciting prospect, because they've done a fine job at Leeds, and it's I think they're called the York family, and there's a number of them, and they're worth, not that this is overly relevant, but they're worth about $7 billion dollars, and they have invested very, very wisely in just about everything they've done. So if they see the potential in our club, then I have no doubt that if it was to come to fruition, Stevie, that our fans would be very happy about it, and that they would be probably the ones that you would look at and say, from here on in, with the other investors, would be the one that would be leading the club and taking it forward if it were to happen.
Yeah, listen, here's a conspiracy theory for you, Kerry. The football review, or the ongoing review of the football club, Patrick Stewart, who's brought in as our CEO, was also CEO at Manchester United as they prepped for takeover under Jim Ratcliffe, or partial takeover, very similar to what this is now. I'm trying not to go 2.2, 2 plus 2 equals 10 and all that sort of thing, but Kenny, there's stuff going on here. My wee room's falling apart as well, Kenny. I just knocked my picture over slightly as well. Excitement is overbearing at the moment, but right, that's that fixed. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of conspiracy theories, there's lots of things going on, but see, even if you take this story in isolation, that it's not true or whatever, then, and it's a fluff piece, we've been here before, that's fine, but Rangers do need something. They need a shot, an injection in the arm, they need adrenaline throughout the club, they need that. And I think that something like this would surely galvanise. And money, look, money doesn't solve everything. Like, I'm going to be clear here. Like, Celtic are a very well-run football club, and we can't suddenly think that throwing 100 million at whatever would fix everything. But there's a lot of things there: the infrastructure, the football department, the ground, the training ground. There's a lot of work that can be done with money, and you just have to get it right through the recruitment, through who we would bring in and stuff like that, to any amount. But we can't expect like Rangers suddenly to go and spend 50, 60 million pounds if things like this happen. I think it's more, it would give everybody an enthusiasm, which at the very moment in time is waning throughout the whole football club, because people aren't going anymore. We can see it with the empty seats. That's going to keep going down. We're setting ourselves up for tough times ahead. Something like this would at least give us a wee bit of hope. And I know in Shawshank Redemption, Morgan Freeman said hope was a very dangerous thing for a man. And yes, it is. But in a wider scale, Kenny, this club needs something.
Yeah, it does. And look, there's a lot to unpack there. But what I would say right away, listen, Keith Jackson's made a record of certain things over the years. We know this, right?
Yeah, undoubtedly.
Yes, we know this. But what I would say with something like that, you know as well as I do where he's got his information from. There is an element of truth to that. And I don't believe for a minute that he would be quite prepared to put that out there unless there was a huge element of truth to it. Now, things can happen and it could fall through. We understand that. But as you say, Stevie, look, money doesn't solve everything. But what it does do is allow you to build for the future. And as I've just said to you, we've discussed this at length before. And what we need to see is that 3 to 5 year plan. And at this minute in time, when you'll heard this rumor as well as I have that the review was being done because there was an element of money just getting siphoned, just getting lost all over the place, and there was potential interest in the football club, but they wanted that rectified within the club I'm talking about. They wanted that rectified before they were even prepared to listen to other potential investors. That they had to get their own ship in order, if as it were, to then turn around and put it to potential investors. So when you're saying you like a good conspiracy theory, trust me, mate, you've not got a patch on me. I love a conspiracy theory, but in this, I actually do happen to think there is when you add everything up, and as you say, add 2 plus 2, I think it does equal 4. I don't think we're making 5 out of this. I think there is an element of it that when you actually take the overview on everything that's been going on at the football club over the past couple of months, then yeah, there could be a reason for perhaps the manager not going anywhere, perhaps the need for patience at this particular time when fans aren't prepared to give it. I don't know what you feel, but when you actually review, in your head, you review everything yourself, you look at it and you think, well, yeah, this kind of does make sense.
It makes sense if there's a truth to be told, that there's things going on that we don't know about, potential investment, potential prepping the club as such for that investment. Why would they then create further uncertainty by removing the manager and things like that at a point where you are prepping it for other investment and stuff? So there's all sorts of conspiracy theories when you think about the level of that result a couple of weeks ago, and we won't keep going back into it. People get me into trouble for keep going back into it, but I'm not. I just think the size of that in our club was huge. Patrick Stewart referenced it today, and we talked about that on our breaking news show earlier on. Go and check that out as well. It's great. Sponsored by Wigs & Co. And yeah, I mean, when you think about all that stuff, Kenny, it is, I mean, you could drive yourself mental tonight, because my head now is going to be about what ifs and what could happen and all that sort of stuff. Worth pointing out, we do not know if this is true. We know at this moment in time the story's out there and it's not been knocked down yet. So Rangers are really quick to tell you when things aren't true and things like that, really quickly. I've been told things aren't true and I've not even seen the story yet. And that's in the past. Are they likely to discuss this kind of thing? I'm not sure, but certain people get told stuff and they haven't come out yet. So it's interesting, Kenny. Any summary, anything you want to add just before we finish up?
Well, you and your good mate Chris Jack are commonly referred to as the Grim Reapers of Twitter for knocking stuff back, mate, and telling us that things aren't true. And when neither of you two are, telling us that this isn't true, then it's. That's not to say it is true. I'm just saying that when you can't, then you can't get the information out of the club that it's to be denied. Then let's hope there's an element of truth to it. Put it that way. And my overall view of it, Stevie, is exactly how I'll finish how I started. I genuinely do believe that this football club is ripe for change. I think it's primed to have investors that are keen to take the club forward. I think the club itself is it's been reared in success, and it's one of those things that over the last 10 years, I think we've found ourselves in a situation where we're finding it very tough.
Look, let's be honest. I went to interrupt you there and turned off my camera. It's probably best for everyone with this face anyway. But we are stagnating. We're stuck in a rut, Kenny. That's what I was going to say. You're right.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, Stevie, that at this minute in time, when you actually analyse it, you've got to be thankful for anybody that puts money into a football club. But it comes a point where, there is a number of investors there that have put a serious amount of money in. And does it get to the point where they feel that, how far can we take the football club, and do they actually sit there and start to think of their own exit plan? And perhaps there is an element of that to it as well, mate. That's what I would be looking at. And apart from that, when we come off here, I'm still going back out to dance some more and pray for change.
Yeah. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that is us. I think we've had a wee chat about that. Imaginations are certainly running wild, that's for sure. We'll wait and see. But I think what Kenny says is right there. No matter what comes of this, I think the time's right for Rangers Football Club to look for investment, look for fresh ideas, look for excitement, get the club vibing again, because we're not at the moment. I think that's absolutely fair. Everybody's stuck in a rut. I talk about the support, fan media, whoever. As I said before, Kenny and I've had the season ticket 30 odd years. Kenny, similar. We've followed Rangers home and away for years and years. All we want is the best for Rangers Football Club. It needs something. Rangers need a shot in the arm. I'm not sure if this is it. I'm not sure if this is a pie in the sky story. We will certainly see in the coming days. But for the moment in time, certainly worth covering and having a chat about it. I joked about Elon Musk on the Rangers review this morning. Maybe this might be something similar. We'll see how we'll see how this works out. Kenny, thanks for joining us, mate. Again.
No, not at all, mate. I'm going to go and sit and watch the Real Madrid Man City game now. But that was good. Thanks, mate.
Well, dreaming. My head's gone.
Yeah.
Right, my head's absolutely gone. But on that note, folks, thanks for joining us as well. Please
It's an exciting story, isn't it?
Yeah, it's please follow and subscribe for us, folks. That really helps us. We're trying to make things grow. The more we can do, we will try. I even made myself a wee dungeon to come and entertain you all. So, listen, we don't take ourselves too seriously here. Honestly, we're just Rangers supporters, and we want what's best for the football club. And we want excitement. We want to enjoy it. We want to follow, and do our thing with a wee bit of a smile on our face. That's for sure. So, appreciate you joining us. We'll be back later on the week, probably to talk more about this and the match day vlog at the weekend also. So thank you for joining us. I'm away to watch Die Hard and dream about America. Good night, everyone.
Four Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Clyde Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions Limited and CSD Air Conditioning, along with Art of Gold. Thank you for listening or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.